Okay, now that we've hit 10:33, let's go ahead and get started for today. So let me go through a few housekeeping things as we start. So I'd like to welcome everyone to today's visit from Biola University. Representative Emily Seguerin is here, along with her student helper, Alicia Perez. And I am Paige Leverin, I'm your host today, and I'm the District Counselor for College and Career Readiness. Don't forget to reach out to your school counselor or learning director if you have any questions after today's presentation. I'm going to cover some basic housekeeping information before we start. We're going to place all participants on mute, but if you'd like to be able to submit your questions utilizing the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, please do not use the chat or raise your hand features. We will not be responding to these types of inquiries, so please stick with the Q&A feature. And Alicia from Biola will be answering those questions for you. First, we are recording the webinar, and tomorrow it will be posted to our website. So what I would recommend is that so you can easily find our website is to either take a screenshot or picture of the screen right now. This is our website address, and it contains all types of bonus information for the college application process. So if you're a senior out there applying to college, we have all kinds of videos and directions to help you through and guide you. Next, don't forget to keep checking our newsletter for this upcoming events. And the new newsletter will be coming out later this week and will be emailed out to you along with your parents. The length of this webinar is about an hour. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to hand this over now to Alicia and Emily. Thank you for being here today, ladies.
Great. Thanks so much, Paige. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to connect with you all today. Although we can't necessarily see your faces, hopefully we'll see you in the future, maybe at one of our virtual events for Biola, or hopefully in person in the future. Before we dive in, we're just going to take some time to introduce ourselves so you know who we are. So my name is Emily. I'm one of the admissions counselors at Biola. I'm originally from the Central Valley of California, so shout out to all of you Visalia natives. I went to school in Visalia as well, so it's good to be back with you all. I'm here with you throughout your whole entire admissions process at Biola, and I work with all of you students as you're going through this process. So when it comes to application review, financial aid, just Biola general questions, I'll be your point person at Biola, so feel free to reach out to me directly in the future. I'll share my contact information towards the end of our conversation today. And you can follow up with me if you need anything else. I'm also a Biola alum, so I graduated in 2017 from Biola. I love Biola so much that I literally talk about Biola for my job now, so it's a pretty good time. Before we dive into the presentation, which is only going to be about 8 to 10 minutes long, I know you guys all are doing virtual school. I'm doing virtual school right now too with our Coral School of Business, so we're not going to take that much time from you guys. But before we dive in, I want to make sure you know who Alicia is. So Alicia, you can just introduce yourself. She is one of our student representatives at Biola. She's been working with us in admissions for like a little over a year now, so really exciting. But take some time just to introduce yourself. You can share like what your major is, what year you are at Biola, so our students can get to know you more, and then what city you're coming from too.
Perfect. Thanks, Emily. My name is Alicia Perez. I am a marketing senior at Biola. Woohoo, finally in the last year. I come from Palmdale, California. However, I have moved every single year up until high school. So I'm familiar with a lot of areas. But yeah, super excited about that. And yeah, let's get started.
Okay. Okay, so as Paige shared, be sure to utilize the Q&A feature. You guys can send in questions as we go, and Alicia is going to make sure to answer some of those. And if she can't answer them, she's going to pass you right along to me, and you can connect with me directly. But as we go throughout the presentation, please submit your questions as we go. I don't want you to wait to the very end. And then at the end of our presentation, we're going to take some time to do a Q&A with our student, because I want to make sure you guys know what it's like to be a student at Biola. So I have some questions that I'm going to ask Alicia, and then you guys can submit your questions too directly for her, and then we'll answer them actually through video format, so you can hear a little bit more about Biola from a student perspective, which is a little bit more exciting than myself as a staff member. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. So this is just a quick presentation for you guys to have some visuals. We'll go throughout the presentation, but as you have questions, again, be sure to submit them in the Q&A feature. So Biola's 95-acre campus is located in Southern California, La Mirada specifically to be exact. We're less than 25 miles from beaches, Disneyland, the Hollywood Bowl, and other iconic Southern California locations. We're right on the border of LA County and Orange County, which makes for the perfect spot for internship opportunities too. Our community is made up of about 6,000 students from all over the world in all 50 states. And about 4,000 of those students are undergraduate students pursuing their bachelor's degree. So Biola is ranked one of the top tier of the best national universities according to US News and World Report. Among these schools that are ranked as top tier, only 4 Christian universities were mentioned. And of those 4, Biola was ranked the top for the past 3 years. So I would say we're pretty big deal for sure. So as a first tier national university and the best in the West school, you have the opportunity to learn from world-class faculty. Our professors hold doctorates from some of the world's most leading research universities, such as Cambridge, MIT, Cornell, Stanford, and Oxford. A 14-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio allows you to receive personal attention and mentorship from faculty. Our professors know you by name and want to see you grow beyond the classroom and help prepare you for your future. Biola has about a little over 40 majors for you to find a program that is custom tailored to what your interests are. Some of our top 9 majors are on the screen for you to see. So this includes business administration, which is what Alicia's major is, so shout out to business, education, a variety of different STEM programs and science programs, and then our Cinemedia Arts program as well. Our Cinemedia Arts program, by the way, we're ranked top 40 film schools in the world. So if you're interested in film, Biola is truly a really great place to be for that. To kind of give you more insight into what this looks like, I wanted to share a little bit about one of my favorite professors at Biola, Dr. Datcher. So this is him. Dr. Datcher was one of my communication studies professors. Like I shared, I studied intercultural studies, but I added a minor in communication studies as I was at Biola. So Dr. Datcher took the time to get to know me and was really interested in just helping me pursue what I was interested in post-college. So I remember one time specifically, Dr. Datcher was sitting with me at our coffee shop on campus, and he wrote out contact information of over 30 different employers and organizations from the LA area that would be an organization that I'd be interested in interning for. So he wrote down all this contact information for me to be able to reach out and land an internship. So these are the types of professors that you're going to have at Biola, professors who care about you and are wanting to help you achieve your goals. We believe at Biola, it's a place where you'll definitely grow academically, but we also think that it's a place that you're going to grow your faith to the next level. The students in our community, myself included as an alum, share about how their faith has grown during their time at Biola. Part of this is because Biola prepares students to think biblically about everything, which is why all of our undergraduate students complete 30 credits in Bible and theology classes. And I know a couple of you guys were interested in those fields. So you're gonna be able to take those classes regardless of if that's your major. And this qualifies most students for a minor in biblical and theological studies. We also have weekly chapel opportunities where you can hear from different speakers and learn how to grow in your faith. Biola has over 9 different chapels per week. We're still doing them in a virtual format currently, so our students are still a part of this. This includes one of our student favorite chapels, which is called Singspiration. It's an all music and worship chapel that happens on Sunday nights. So with all of this, I would say something that makes Biola truly unique is our all Christian community. So at Biola, all of our students, all of our staff, and all of our faculty, so those professors that you have a relationship with Jesus. So just that idea of being surrounded by people who are like-minded is yet one more way that you can grow in your faith while you're at Biola. All right, so at Biola, we do also understand that it's incredibly important to prepare you for life after college. We don't necessarily want that to be something that you wait until post-college to get that experience and that hands-on research. So that's why we really strive to create a learning environment that not only encourages you to pursue academic excellence, but also equips you with the tools that you need to make an impact on the world. So in a recent survey, 90% of our students were employed or accepted to graduate school within 6 months of graduation. Other notable companies that hire our graduates include Apple, Boeing, the Walt Disney Company, Saddleback Church, and so much more. We want you to make sure that you feel confident that as you leave Biola, you're going to be transformed and ready to make an impact in your community and the world too. All right, so we learned a lot about Biola. Let's talk the nitty-gritty details of financial aid. So as you consider the investment of pursuing your Biola education, keep in mind that over 90% of our students receive one or more forms of financial aid. That's a really large percentage. Financial aid opportunities like academic scholarship, grants, loans, and payment plans can help make your Biola education a possibility. With the personalized financial aid offer that we put together for you, your actual cost of attendance will probably be a lot less than the published price to attend Biola. So don't let that sticker price shock you. My best advice for you is to apply for aid. I'm sure all of your high school guidance counselors have told you to do the same, and I'm gonna say it again, apply for aid, apply for your FAFSA. It is available starting October 1st, which is tomorrow. So submit it early, submit it as soon as you're able, and be sure to list Biola as a school that you want it sent to. It's really easy to complete, but it's a really helpful step in making like whatever college you're entering into, hopefully it's Biola, but possible for you to attend. The financial aid process can be super overwhelming. I definitely know, but it's my job as a counselor really to help you with that process. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I want you to know that you have myself as a resource as you're going through that process, and I'm always willing to set up a virtual appointment with you and your family to talk about financial aid, make it possible for you to attend Biola. Okay, so if you have not already applied to Biola, I 100% recommend to apply. Our application is actually free right now, so there is nothing that is holding you back. Due to COVID as well, we are waiving the test score requirements for all of our fall 21 applicants. So be sure to submit your application. We just need those transcripts from you, your online application, and that is it. So our admissions requirements on the screen, you can see, as an admissions counselor, I will say as well, my role is really to review your application holistically in a way that's going to benefit you in terms of admission, but also in terms of academic scholarship. A big question I've been getting asked is, will I still be able to receive academic scholarship if I don't submit test scores? And the answer is yes. We're still able to award academic scholarship without those test scores. So be sure to submit your application. If you want to get to know what I'm looking for in an application, set up a virtual appointment with me and we can go over that a little bit more deeply. All right. The last thing I'm going to say is, regardless of if you have applied or if you've been admitted already, a really great step is to follow us on these social media platforms. So I have some QR codes up there for you. So go ahead and just hold your phone up to the screen, hover over it with your camera app in your smartphone, and you can click on those links that will pop up for you. So you probably recognize the icon on the top, that's Instagram, so you can follow us on Instagram. We do a lot of really fun giveaways, which is really nice. That's why I always follow things on social media. But we also have a lot of our current students who share their student experience on this platform. It's a completely student-run Instagram account. So be sure to follow our Biola Admissions Instagram. The second one might look a little bit more unfamiliar. This is an app called ZME. It's actually the #1 leading platform for your college search. So this one in particular, you can follow different colleges that you're interested in. So you can follow Biola after you create a profile, and then you're able to actually chat with current students, with other incoming students, get to know the Biola community a little bit more before you actually set foot on campus. So that's a really good one to download, and I would say it's a good one to tell your friends about too. It's really helpful. We also are launching some virtual events happening on this platform, ZME too, so be sure to download that. Okay, I'm gonna leave this on the screen for you guys, but this is my contact information. Like I said, I work with all students from this area, so please feel free to connect with me. That phone number that's there is a texting phone number, so text me. You can text me your quick questions and we can kind of chat from there. It's a really easy way to get a hold of me. And then on the right-hand side, I got one more QR code for you, which is to book a virtual appointment with me. I'll put this up at the end again, so you can do that, but virtual appointments would look like a one-on-one conversation through Zoom, or we can talk over the phone, but it's really to like go in more detail about what the application looks like. We can talk about financial aid, really anything at all that would help you feel more confident and empowered as you go through your college process. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Like I said, I'm going to put that up at the end too, but let's take some time to get to know our current student because that's way more exciting than hearing me talk. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up some questions for Alicia just to get us started. So let's go ahead and kick that off. And as you have questions for any of myself or Alicia, we can go ahead and get that going in our Q&A feature too. So be sure to chat those in. So let's go ahead and kick it off with what brought you to Biola and why did you ultimately choose to attend Biola?
Yeah, I love this question. I think at the start of this job, I was like, oh, I'm not really sure what brought me to Biola, but now I like figured it out. I think Biola was my dream school, but there was other colleges that I was looking forward to going, and Biola was the very last school to hear back from. So I kind of had a big decision factor because I had already enrolled in another school. So I went to the other school. I went to 5 Biola visits to make sure that it was the school for me. And I actually ended up talking to one of my future, I'm actually taking him now, business law professor. And he asked me like a whole bunch of questions. He let me just stay in his class because we went into the wrong classroom for like the sit-in classroom, and he was just very helpful. He's like, oh, what are your ideas on this, and why are you pursuing business, why are you here, like what got you to Biola? And I was like, oh, I've heard about it at school. There weren't a lot of Christians at my school. I come from a massive public high school, so I was kind of shocked that there was a campus where there were people that were like-minded in regards to being Christian, especially like growing up in a public high school. That can be kind of hard on some students. It was for me. So I think that was the huge factor that made me go to Biola, was the genuine connection I had with the professors. I have Professor Wilson now as my business law professor this semester. And he's like, I remember you before you even enrolled. And I was like, how do you remember me? And he's like, you answered a question that was very hard, like my other students couldn't answer. And I was just like blushing, like falling down in my seat. But yeah, I thought it was cool to see that interaction, and our professors genuinely care about the students. I got really sick during the summer of COVID, and I need surgery. So I actually had professors that found out through like other students, and they emailed me and they got me like a get well card that I have up in my room. But it was just like so encouraging to see that during this time. But yeah.
That's so good. That's so funny that he remembers you from that first interaction. Okay, so good. What have you been involved in on campus? What maybe are some key things that stand out that you've been involved in at Biola?
Ooh. I think missions and clubs are my favorite thing on campus. There's this club called Hide and Go Seek Club. I know it sounds weird and you're like, we're too old to be playing hide and go seek, but we play like different games every time, and they're outdoor games because we are mainly, once you're in class, you go to your dorm and you just do homework all day. And then you have like time to go get lunch with your friends and do like minor activities. But hide and go seek, you get to meet new students through there. And it's just really fun to kind of feel like a kid again, especially in college when you're kind of stressed out from all these things. But it's just a great way to just kind of break off. I was also in scuba club. I forgot about that until right now. But I went scuba diving. You actually get PE credits through that as well, through Biola. It was really, really fun. We went to Catalina Island. We went to Laguna Beach. It was at 4 a.m. because you have to go at a certain time. But it was so worth it. You see other students struggling to wake up too. And we had breakfast afterwards. It was just a great time. Scuba diving was a very out of my comfort zone thing. So I do recommend to all students that are planning to go to college, whether that's nearby or with Biola, yeah, just get involved with things that are out of your comfort zone. You get to learn a lot about yourself. Like I don't have the endurance to go scuba diving every morning, but once in a while it's really fun. But yeah, and then missions, I did Mana, which is we make meals and packages for our homeless community in Los Angeles, and we go out Saturday mornings and we just pass them out. So it's really fun just to see students interact with like our local community as well. Um, yeah, especially outside of Biola. It's really cool just to see how our students work together.
So good. Did you see anything cool as you were scuba diving?
We saw a lot of fish. There was we got scared we were gonna get stung by a jellyfish, but it just ended up like swimming past us. So we were like, oh, okay, we're good. But yeah, I think that's like the most. We have seen like little crabs and stuff here and there, but yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Just to let you all know too, so Alicia mentioned Nana Ministry that she's a part of. Biola has the largest and longest student-run missions union in the nation. So if you have ever been involved in mission trips or ministries in the past while you're in high school, or if you haven't had that opportunity and want to be a part of something like that, Biola is a really great place to be involved in that. There's opportunities to go on those trips, also opportunities to lead trips and be in leadership, get internships through our student missionary union. So it's a really great thing to get involved in. Okay, so you mentioned, Alicia, that you were a part of a lot of like, you were part of a huge public school before you entered into Biola. So you took classes at both. You took classes at public school, you took classes at Biola, private Christian school. What looked different to you? What were like I would say the most different things that you noticed between the two?
Ooh. I think it would have to be all of the classes that you take at Biola kind of correlate with each other. So if I know a student mentioned they were in biblical theology and you're taking communications or you're taking psychology, our professors do a great way to make sure they all connect. They'll give an example for the content that we're learning and they'll be like, oh, if you're in this major, this is how this can relate to you in this regard. And it's just really cool to see all of your classes kind of come together. In high school, I did not have that. They're all very separate. I took a lot of AP classes, so they were kind of just, oh, okay, world history and literature and world history and stuff like that. But they were all very separate. But for Biola students, all of your classes somehow correlate with each other. And it's just really cool to see, oh, okay, how does my Bible minor play into that? And then you learn in business law, like right now, it's like, I'm not a law major and I find it fascinating. I'm like, oh, you need to have your biblical principles because, we're representing Jesus and that's really cool. And I didn't think of it that way. And yeah, I think it was just interesting to see how, like, for me at least, how business correlated with Bible, especially I did a internship with the local church near Biola. And I was shocked to see that being a marketing student and a business student, you could still use that for a church. And I didn't know that beforehand. I was like, oh, I didn't even know this position exists, but okay, that's really cool. But if it wasn't for a professor, I don't think I would have gotten that internship either.
So true. A lot of the opportunities I had were from my professors as well. Yeah, that's really great. And one thing to add for that too, for all students, you guys will have the opportunity to take an integrative seminar. I don't know if you've taken this yet, Alicia, because you take it your last year typically. But really the purpose is we're trying to like take all of your studies and tie it up with a nice little bow. So you're going to have the chance to understand how your major and how your minor courses correlate and how they interact with each other. So mine was called Gospel and Culture. So studied intercultural studies. And then I also had my Bible, theology, and ministry classes. So that class in and of itself was taking everything that I learned in those prior classes and kind of understanding how they work together. So you all will have an opportunity to do something specific to your major and integrating or incorporating the things that you're learning in your Bible, theology, and ministry courses as well. All right, so let me see. During your time at Biola, were there any resources that you used or helped you succeed as a student?
I think, the Career Center and the library were my favorite places to go. I think for Career Center, we have a lot of, well, this is more in regards to business student, but we do have a lot of projects where you have to go do your cover letter and your resume and your online portfolio. Some communications majors will do that as well. But there's what's her name? Jasmine Alvarez, which is our lead for Career Center. She's so helpful when it comes to just finding an internship or volunteer position or part-time job, whatever it may be for you. She's just very helpful. I just go into her office from time to time just to hang out with her. She's really cool. And yeah, she's a great resource on campus, and you can also use them after you graduate Biola, which is so nice. And yeah, our library is open usually up until maybe 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I'm not sure if the hours have changed, but it's just a great time to just be there. You can use the computers there. My computer crashed during a project that I had. So it was so nice just to know, oh, I have a backup computer in the library. And I had all my friends just come with me and they all helped me. But it's just a great way to kind of see like your other friends that are studying for like the same thing as you are or working on the same project as you are. um, but yeah, I think the library is like a really fun place, especially if um, you have to use a book and you forgot it at home during Thanksgiving break like I did. It's a great way just to go stop in.
So good. I lived in the library during finals week. And crazy thing is, they have the library open until like 2 a.m. during finals week. So me and my roommate, our first couple of years at least, I figured it out during my upperclassmen years, but we were there until the wee a.m., which was crazy. Okay, we have a question from Brandon. And if you guys still have questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A feature and we can answer them live for you. But he's asking a little bit more about like what it looks like for hands-on experience. I know for you, Alicia, you're doing a ton right now with your marketing program. So do you want to share a little bit about what it's looked like for you to kind of do like more hands-on activities? And he's saying like going outside and seeing stuff in person. Do you have any experiences where you've been able to do more hands-on work?
Yes, I do a lot of volunteer work with my church, like my local church. Also, I highly recommend to any Biola student if you're looking for a nearby church, you're away from home, your church isn't going to follow you. Um, but I highly recommend going with a group of friends and kind of go church hopping in a sense. It's really fun. You get to see different types of like backgrounds from each of your friends and kind of find like your potential home church, which is really cool. But I started getting involved with a church called Eastside Christian Church, and they did a lot of volunteer work with local community, and I love just like serving locally. So I have worked with foster students. We went to Newport Beach to go paddleboarding and just teach some of them to swim. It was really, really fun. But yeah, I think as long as you push yourself out there, there's a lot of hands-on experience. I'm trying to, I'm reading Brandon's question. I also think he means like things outside of Biola, so I'm gonna touch base on that as well. There's a lot of museums and a lot of theaters, and um, I think because of our location, since we are like near Disneyland and we are by the Dodgers stadium, I think it's so nice that we have like so many opportunities. So I would go to an LA Kings game after class. Um, I would make sure I have my homework done, but then I would go to the LA Kings game, um, or we would go to like the Getty Center for just to walk around like all the portraits. Um, I think there's like so many opportunities outside of Biola as well. I highly recommend students to do that. I think it's important to get outside of the bubble in the sense, um, just because like you're always going to meet different people. I highly recommend going to local coffee shops. I know it sounds weird and it sounds kind of like a movie theater or a movie like experience, but a lot of my friends are not from Biola, shockingly. And we all met at like a coffee shop, and there's a lot of local colleges as well. So I think it's really cool to see, oh, I met a business finance major from Cal State Fullerton at a local coffee shop, and we just talked, and then they asked me, they're like, oh, what's it like going to a Christian school? I'm like, it's actually pretty great, like it's amazing. I didn't expect to say that ever, but it's been a life-changing experience. So I highly recommend just push yourself out of the comfort zone, find people that are also willing to do like the same things as you. I think Biola does a great job, especially with dorms. We will have retreats. So we normally have one through a semester. So um, reach out to your RA. I know we have RAs now as well. You can also reach out to just any Biola student is more than happy to respond to you. But yeah, I think it's a great way to just go on those retreats, meet who's on your floor as well. And we have picnics, we go to the beach, you go surfing, you find out people's interests along the way. So I think that's a great way to kind of see hands on, get all the hands on experience.
Yeah, that's so good. And I will say, like, the girls I met my freshman year at Biola, I still see them every single week. We're doing a virtual Bible study right now. So that's the kind of friendships you guys have to look forward to, people that you're really going to able to share your life with and get to know more deeply on a spiritual level too. And then I did also want to highlight for you guys who are wondering like what it looks like in terms of location and like your academics. I'm going to share my screen one more time with you guys. But this is one of my dear friends when I was at Biola. This is Heather. She graduated in 2018, so similar kind of year as myself. But I actually have another student from Visalia area who went to Redwood High School, Michaela Hayes, if you guys know her, if you go to Redwood. But she is actually doing the same internship that Heather did. So while she was at Biola, she's public relations major, but she was an audience coordinator intern for the Late Late Show with James Corden. She's a NBC publicity intern later, but this is all experiences that she was able to have because of the communication with her professors and that they were really able to recommend her for these roles. And then our career center also does a really good job of allowing you to apply and be a part of hands-on experiences. One thing that you guys can also know is a lot of our Bible theology and ministry majors, because there are a couple of you guys who shared interest in that, a lot of those programs actually require internships. So you will be doing hands-on research. You don't necessarily have a choice. So, which is a good thing. I will say employers look at those things and they're really one of the most important things as you're applying for jobs. Okay, so we're gonna take some time for one last question. If you guys have a final question, be sure to drop it. I'm gonna share my contact information at the end so you guys can reach out if you do have any more questions. But the last question I have for you, Alicia, is that now that you're in college, for all of these students that are watching us today, what advice would you give yourself as a graduating high school senior that you maybe want to share with these graduating seniors?
I have too many.
Right?
I think don't have any expectations for what your college experience is going to be like. What I mean by that is like don't compare your college experience to other college experiences. Like I think that was my major mistake is that I saw how my cousins college experience was and I was like, oh, mine should be like that. And it's not like that, and that's okay. I think when you do that, you kind of ruin your own experience as a college student and as you're graduating high school as well. I think the more flexible you are when it comes to getting to know people and getting to find your new interests as like a growing adult, you know. I know that for me it was scary hearing, oh, you're becoming an adult. I was like, no. But I thought it was also interesting that it's true. I think expectations do ruin, like your own personal expectations will ruin your college experience. So don't come into college having certain experience, like expectations for yourself, like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do this. Take it like one day at a time. Like you'll find out that you have less time than you actually thought you did, especially with like college assignments and projects. But yeah, I think that's like a great advice that I would say that I would give to or potential college students, you know. But also enjoy the summer before you get into college. So spend as much time with friends and family. I live maybe 2 hours, 3 hours out from Biola, so I can go on occasion, but I know other students don't have that. And I know Visalia is very far from Biola. My best friend is actually from Visalia. So I've made a couple trips from Visalia to Biola. It's a very long drive, but just make sure you spend time with like your friends and family and just appreciate like the time you have with them. You're gonna realize, you're gonna miss them a lot more than you originally thought. So yeah, those are like my two things for you guys.
That's good. Wise words right there, everyone. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. I'm going to share my screen one more time just so you can have my contact information. If there are any follow-up questions that you have, please reach out to me. It's my job to connect with you, and I want to connect with you. And also, I am just a little bit more, my heart is more towards Visalia area because I'm from there. So please reach out if I can help with anything. My contact info is there. You can text me. And then I would also recommend just booking a virtual appointment with me. They're no longer than 30 minutes. It's not too much time, and we can dive into your questions more one-on-one. So be sure to book a virtual appointment with me. And then some other things to let you guys know is that we have some really cool virtual events coming up this semester for you, with our first one happening actually this weekend. We have another one coming up in just a couple weeks in October called Discover Biola. But there's so many things happening this semester for you as students to visit Biola virtually. I know that feels a lot different than coming onto our campus, but we really do want you to be able to connect with current students, other incoming students. We have Q&A segments with faculty. It's just such good event and content for you guys to be a part of. So come to those events, reach out if you have any questions, and thanks so much for joining with us today.
Emily, before we leave, I have a few questions for you, for
Yeah.
our students. You were talking about financial aid, and private schools do tend to have larger tuition requirements, and that tends to freak parents out.
Yeah.
For Biola, you're filling out the FAFSA, but do you also fill out the profile?
We just need your FAFSA. So
Okay.
when you fill out your FAFSA, Biola will be sent the information, and then myself as an admissions counselor, we're going to create a personalized financial aid package for you. And then you talk to me directly. I want to make sure we're able to help you as best as possible, so I can resource you with scholarship opportunities to apply for. There are certain scholarships available for certain majors. We have church matching scholarships. There are so many different ways for you to receive aid, and I want you to receive aid. So know that I'm in your corner trying to make this possible for you to attend Biola, and I don't want like financial aid to be a reason why you wouldn't be able to attend. So I would say have a conversation with me. We can talk more in detail, and then I can see what's possible in terms of additional scholarship and financial aid opportunities.
Perfect. Emily, Alicia, thank you so much for a great job today and reaching out to our students. And I'm going to advise all of our students to take advantage of the contact with Emily and make those individual appointments. Also, keep checking back with our Visalia Unified College and Career website. We have all types of resources for our seniors on how to fill out the applications, from the college applications to the FAFSA, and we'll keep guiding you through those sources. But Emily, Alicia, thank you so much for spending your morning with us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us. Have a good rest of your week, everyone.
Thank you.